Beautiful, beautiful. So this is such a juicy topic to really get into. So over the past 7 years, I've been practicing different techniques just to actually have a relationship with my own energy, first and foremost. So that's been things like yoga, breathing deeply, and a lot of self-love and a lot of releasing. So I do energetical body work, which is all about releasing energy. So we have energy stored in our bodies, in our cells, and talking about sex, we've got a lot of energy that is actually stored in the womb, in the uterus, in the vagina itself. So that's when sex itself, when we're connecting with the sacral chakra, which is under the navel, that's where all the sensuality in a woman, that's her sexual center, her sacral. So if that area is full of junk, full of memories, and full of trauma, all our experiences are kind of going to have that knock-on effect. So I've just done a lot of work on clearing that, and that's how I first started realizing, oh my God, this energy is actually, it's not just a sexual energy, it's actually like a creative force that I can harness in myself. So instead of having sex and just being, oh my God, yeah, it's pleasurable, it's actually, I've been able to channel that energy up throughout my chakras, and it's able to actually give me short states of enlightenment. And when I say enlightenment, I'm talking about altered state of awareness and an altered state of consciousness. And that's come through actually harnessing this energy and bringing it up throughout the chakras. It's had like a physical, tangible effect.
Okay. And how does that, what about men? How does, I know women store it in our wombs, etc. But what about men? How does that manifest in terms of men?
With men, it's all mental. It's mental, and so every time they have their semen and they're releasing, it's coming from the brain. It's going down the spine, going down the genitalia. So whatever that man's thoughts are in that act, or whatever he's been thinking throughout the day, he's carrying it within him. So that release, almost like an offload. So it's very important to make sure that you've done some kind of meditation. When you are in that space, you cleanse that energy first. You're not just offloading. That has memory as well. It's like a hard drive of memory. Wounded memories on that memory stick, loads of wounded memories in the PC, which is receiving the information. There's just wounds and trauma, and we're just activating each other's trauma. But this is where it gets really interesting. If we've been through a lot of traumatic experiences, we actually have a lot of chemicals, and we're addicted to those chemicals. So it could be stress, it could be drama, and even though we don't like those situations, for some reason, every time we're in that kind of predicament, our body's releasing hormones, chemical, drugs, and we're addicted to those drugs. So even though it's trauma, when he's activating those traumatic vibrations in the vagina or in the womb, it's releasing those chemicals, and we're addicted to that. So we don't know what we're saying. Oh my God, the sex was amazing. Oh my God, the sex was so on point. Not knowing that the sex was only on point because it's activating trauma and you're kind of addicted to it. So it does feel good because it's a drug high, but it's addiction to that traumatic vibration. So it's crazy because sometimes it's heard in the community, someone could say, oh my God, someone's so conscious or someone's so spiritual, but I went to bed with them and the sex was rubbish. But whereas I've got this low vibrational person that I'm seeing, and you would think that the sex would be bad, but it's actually better than with the high vibrational person. And people like scratch their heads and they're like, oh, how come I enjoy it more? Like, is it a self-love? Is it self-worth? Like, what's going on? How come I'm enjoying lying down with that man who's like to a lower vibration, lower frequency, more than I am enjoying actually connecting and exchanging energies with the man that is more conscious. So that is it, like that literally hits the nail on the head, and it's interesting because through life experience it makes you have to check yourself and really look into things. So I've experienced things, I've been like, how, like, what do, this doesn't make any sense. So I had to look a bit deeper and deeper and deep.
So am I getting this right then? So a lot of people would like to, it does make sense, and it, Law, a lot of people would like to, you know, people who consider themselves spiritual would like to date someone who they consider spiritual as well. But what you're actually saying is that there might be an issue within that, because it depends on that person's trauma, and how they
Definitely.
project that trauma through their sexual encounters with you. Whereas somebody who's not necessarily spiritual or conscious, because they haven't been through a trauma, you experience sex on a higher plane with that person.
Yeah, so
Is that
with the
what you're
person
saying?
with the lower energy, it's easy to experience. If you're carrying trauma and you're addicted to those traumatic chemicals, and that other person that you're sharing that energy exchange with is carrying trauma, when the two traumas meet in the sexual exchange, it's going to release those high chemicals within you that you're addicted to, so it's going to feel amazing. Whereas if you go with a high vibrational person that's cleared that trauma, like you're going to match him, and you're not going to get the same chemical experience as you would, because
Oh,
we're
okay.
associating that. We're hooked on that, like when we watch, like, I don't know, a drama or EastEnders or something interesting, there's everything's kicking off and you're like, oh my god, what's going on? It's that
Yeah,
excitement, and that excitement is almost like bloody, when you get butterflies, we think we like somebody and we're there like, or can't act, like we love drunk, we can't act straight, we can't keep our composure, we're doing silly things that we wouldn't do if that person didn't enter the room. All that kind of energy, it's kind of like a nervousness when that person's around. They're activating a nervousness energy or a nervousness frequency within you, and that's
yeah.
because of the body's acting on those hormones that is creating that chemical high. So there is I don't know where it's from now. I think it was Chinese proverb that says, like, when you meet somebody and when we feel this chemical high and these butterflies, go the other way. Don't go there. Whereas in the media, that's kind of fantasized, like, oh my God, he used to make you feel butterflies, you need to be acting all dumb, rah, 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 and then that's true love. So it's crazy to really associate that with, oh my
That's
God,
true. That's
this one
very
makes me
true that
feel
you act
rah,
like
rah,
it's
rah.
true. Yeah, yeah. So when you're attracted to somebody and it's all butterfly-ish, and all that nervousness comes on, it can actually be a fake perception of
Yeah.
true love.
So they're
Wow.
stimulating your traumas. So you've got an inner child
Oh,
that's, like, let's say, wounded. They've got an inner child that's wounded. So your inner child kind of sees their wounded inner child. And when people do say opposites attract, but sometimes when you're on the same frequency and you really feel it, you get on with it, you draw closer because you're like, oh my God, they're just like me. Because I had to question myself before when I was seeing
subconsciously
someone. I was
without
like, why
realizing it.
do I like this person? Like I knew the person wasn't all that. I knew that I could do better, but with the connection feeling, and the butterfly, it's like, but I feel this mad attraction to them. And then the next thought was, you know what? Because you're attracted to them because they're stimulating unhealed parts of yourself. That's why you are attracted to this
Wow.
person, because you still have parts of yourself that need to heal. So the lower aspects of him are matching your lower aspects of myself that still need to heal. And that's why I was drawn in and magnetized by that energy, because I carry that energy within myself.
So Laura's asking a question. She's put, can't we have amazing sex and butterflies that are disassociated to the traumas? As it paused, Patricia, if you could ever see the face that it's paused on, you would have a heart attack. Let's wait for her to come back, people. Isn't that interesting? Attracted to someone. Okay, it's cut her off. Let me re-add her. It's not always the case of, oh yes, we're compatible. Oh yes, it's sometimes that you are connecting with that person's trauma. I can't wait for her to come back on so we can discuss this further. If any of you have any questions, then feel free to type them in and I will read them, or prompt Patrice to read them so that we can answer your questions. We haven't even started on this conversation yet, but it looks like it's going to be a deep one. I think, what do you think while she's coming back on? But I guess it's just about identifying which level you're coming from, because when it comes to having the butterflies and things like that, it's about recognizing what space or what energy is associated with it. So I guess that's where the whole stepping back and observing what's going on when you're entering a relationship, rather than just jumping into it and giving it time before you actually do engage in sexual contact. That's where that would come in from a spiritual perspective. Because at the same time, us spiritual beings can, when something kind of takes us on a high vibration, we can just be very impulsive to that, not realizing that it's our addiction to certain traumas that's keeping us there. So I'm adding her now. She should come back on. We really need to make sure that our internet connections are great when we're doing this. For the next one, I've written down a few things. Hey, Tamia. What's happening? Hey, Tamia. Sorry. So Laura's asking a question. Can't we have amazing sex and butterflies that are dissociated to the traumas?
I can't really answer that because I feel like I'm still healing and going through that trauma. So I could only answer that to say, you know what, I feel like I'm fully healed and I've got no trauma whatsoever within me, and I am having butterflies. But because I can't say that I'm fully healed and I have no trauma within me, I can't answer that from personal experience. So
how would you say that we harness that energy then?
Fully, pardon?
How would you say we harness that energy with that knowledge then?
With the knowledge that I feel like it's... So what was you saying?
So for example, with that awareness, yeah, you meet somebody, you have an attraction to them that you think is high vibrational. How do you harness that and express it in a way that's not going to bring calm or get you to enter into a bad situation? With that knowledge, how do we move forward with that knowledge? What's the benefit of knowing that?
If you've got someone and you feel like you are attracted to them and you're not getting all these butterfly sensations or these like mad kind of sensations, but you come on to question yourself like, okay, do I really like them? Because I know how I associate liking somebody and I'm not feeling that. Sometimes it is good just to keep exploring. Like they're saying, sometimes you are addicted to those things and then you know if that person actually serves you or if they don't, or the opposite way, if that person does give you butterflies. And I've said sometimes that is associated with trauma. If that's activating something that's still within you, it's still within you. So I believe every aspect of our lives, it is still divine. So if that person's only a mirror of what is reflected in you, still go towards that mirror, because maybe that person has a lesson that they need to show you. And maybe that person could be mean actually showing something and revealing it.
So the whole
we
thing
learn a lot from suffering and pain.
Yeah.
Pardon?
So it could be a part of a healing process, basically. So it's not necessarily about avoiding it; it's about entering it in a space
definitely
of
with awareness.
Yeah.
With awareness, because then that just, when you're really paying attention, you observe and you notice so many things. But to run in something blindsided and just all for the association of romantic love, then that's when things happen and we don't know why things have happened and we can't even put pieces together. But at least if you've got awareness, like, okay, I don't think this person's good for me, but I'm hella attracted to them. Let's just see what this experience has to show me, because I'm walking into this with my eyes open. So even if it is a in love situation, you're not falling in love, you're standing in it and you're being present in the love. It's not something that you're like being thrown in the deep end in with all the chemical, like drowning in your own chemical romance.
So what is Kundalini energy anyway?
Kundalini energy, I would say, is life force energy. Some people call it prana. It can be called chi. And through my personal experience, I've seen that it manifests itself in different forms and different expressions. So I've had a Kundalini rising experience where that same Kundalini energy has expressed itself through a sensation, a physical sensation in my back, starting from my lower spine, going all the way up my spine and curving all the way up my back. And I mean, this sensation, it's so physical. So if only women have carried children and they've felt the children like in the stomach, you know, and they move their arms and legs, and you're like, oh my God, I felt it kick. That's as physical as you feel the Kundalini energy. As physical as you see a child, feel a child kicking your womb. It is like that expression. Kundalini rising is a physical experience, and I literally felt that go all the way up to the back of the head. And at the time, I didn't even know it could manifest in that physical manner. So I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like very overwhelmed. Like, whoa.
Do you know, I know what I had. Let me share my first Kundalini experience in 2012 when I went to Bali, to Indonesia, and I spent 21 days with the guru, Paramahansa Nityananda. And I was quite kind of naive to, you know, how real meditation is, how real Kundalini energy is, how I was naive to how much mind transformation techniques and strategies actually work. So this one day, my guru said, we're going to awaken your Kundalinis. So whoever's Kundalini is not open, basically said, that's your business. You're going to feel your Kundalini open today. And it was funny because I felt like he was directly talking to me, because I know that in my head I was thinking, whatever. Because when you go to those places, like, there's like a crowd of people sitting with the guru, and they're just jumping up and down all the time, and it kind of looked a bit perverted to me. It was just like, why are they lusting after the guru? I went at my door, and no, I swear I was like thinking things like that in my head. So when he was saying that, I was thinking, yeah, whatever, let's watch this now. So anyway, this was in the evening. We sat down to do the meditation for the Kundalini awakening, and I'm still sitting there going, whatever, let me see what I got. Nothing ain't gonna happen to me, whatever. So I'm sitting there and I'm in the meditation. Then all of a sudden, I felt this energy in my in my lower stomach, and it was just kind of moving around, like, and I was like, hold on, what is going on here? So and I was tempted to open my eyes, but I thought, and I heard my guru say, keep your eyes closed, like he demanded, like, so this is what I'm saying. I felt like the whole process was like to don my dance. Because I was like constantly going, nah, it's not gonna work. Anyway, so this energy is going through my lower stomach area, and then all of a sudden, it was like popping in my genital area. It was like popping, and it was like it was opening up. It was almost like a sexual experience, and I jumped up and ran to the toilet. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening to me? When I got back to the room, my guru was laughing. He was laughing. And then he goes, everybody who's standing up, sit back down and awaken your Kundalini. And he goes, whoa, like this, yeah. And you literally feel it in your lower. Listen, the experience there, I was like, no way, like that was like the ultimate. It was almost like I having sex without having sex, like it was weird, but it's like now I know how to kind of use it, and I use it with my manifestations. So, for example, there's times when I want to manifest some money, for example, I'll sit there and I'll do meditation and I'll feel the Kundalini energy, but I'll channel it to that thought process rather than downward. So it's like I can play with it and send it to different parts of my body so that I can, so that's how I harness my Kundalini energy. I can't say I've fully used it in a sexual way yet. I'm excited to use it in a sexual way. For me personally, I'm not meeting the right kind of guys who kind of, awaken the desire to practice my skill with them.
Imagine.
But, do you get what I mean? But
yeah, definitely.
That was my experience. That was when my Kundalini was awakened, and it's the most powerful thing. I mean, some people have overactive Kundalinis, and they get scared of the energy that runs through them, and it can cause harm. But that's where I recommend people to have their Kundalini awakened by, a proper guru, not from like your YouTube channels and all that kind of stuff, because you can have side effects if you're not mentally strong enough and you haven't been through a process to understand what's happening to your body, for you to know how to harness it so it doesn't kind of consume you and take over you.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like, I can't believe how physical it is. But that's what really like makes you kind of step back and be like, what on earth? Because it almost feels like supernatural, like paranormal activities going on within you. Like, but I find it like very interesting because I've had another experience. So after my Kundalini like physical rising, that was during when I was being trained for Kundalini Reiki. So as I was initiated on that, there was a rinsing and cleansing process. So as I was rinsing and cleansing every morning, which was literally to do a short meditation, I tried to do mine first thing in the morning while I was still in bed, open my eyes, very first thing that I did, just visualise Kundalini energy being washed throughout each of your chakras. But I like to start from my crown because I always like to do things a little bit my own way, and the reason why I start from my crown is because I feel this is the centre of connection. So the first thing I need to be is plugged in, tapped in, tuned in, connected, and then when I'm connected, then I do the rest, and it's all coming from that connection from source. That's why I do my crown first. So after doing this meditation, pardon?
I know I said that makes sense actually, to be fair, because when you start from the negative, it's hard to harness the lower level energy, and then get back into that higher space. Whereas to go from the higher to the lower, you've already harnessed the higher level energy, so you can always kind of overpower as the lower as you're going down and down kind of thing. So I never thought about it like that. That's quite informative. That was. Carry on, sorry, I didn't mean to cut
when
you.
you're doing it from the lower side, it's just you doing it by yourself. But when you activate the crown first, you use the instrument of source, if you know what I mean. You're connecting with the divine, and then you just the instruments, then that's doing it with you and for you as well, instead of just doing it from like the just the personality level of yourself. Integrating the higher and the lower. But after this rinsing process, as soon as I started to go out, live the normal life, nothing had changed, wasn't doing anything too special, come out, and it's like I'm in an alt state of consciousness. Like I am literally high on life. Like it's crazy. Like my perception, everything had changed. Everything. And the way I was feeling, I could like connect more with everything. I was seeing things in more of a euphoric way. It was like I'd stepped out my house into heaven. It was crazy. It was really mad, really mad. But it just goes to show, once you have that change within your consciousness, everything else changes after that. So it's all
Yeah.
about changing that, having that altered state of consciousness, or that awakening or enlightenment, or whatever words suit people better, or whatever words people like better. It's about having that, and through activating the Kundalini, that's what door opens, the door for a heightened state of awareness.
Yeah.
And not just heightened in you seeing everything, but you seeing everything through a more in tuned vision, a more in tuned perception, so a more in tuned source itself. So when you're looking at things, remember, so it's unconditional. So we're judging things less. So as we're judging things less, things are more less defined. So we've got more possibilities and more outcomes that we can use the imagination and see reality in. So you're living like everyone else is walking past you, living how they're living. They haven't changed, but because your awareness and your eyes open, you're living and breathing in a much deeper way. So you're actually like, it's like you're alive. It is like, I'll give you the example of, you know, when you're asleep, let's say you've been sleeping all night and you've just woke up. Sometimes when you first wake up, you're not quite awake. Like, you'll rub your eyes and you'll be like a bit like stumbling over the place. Consciously, you're not quite like here and alert. Then it might take a few moments, and it's like, you know what? I'm here now. I'm awoke. So normal life is almost like you're living in that kind of middle state from just waking up, where you're here, but you're not alert and really vivid and seeing what's going on. Whereas when you've activated the Kundalini energy and it's had that effect of altered perception, then it's like, okay, wow, I'm awake. I can see, like, wow, it's like I haven't been here before. And everything's like, it's like new, it's beautiful. It is really, really, really beautiful. But the main thing is that you feel connected. And I feel like that vision from a connected space, it's just holy, it's just beautiful, it's amazing, phenomenal.
So okay, in terms of sex then, why should we use our Kundalini energy in sex, in our sexual encounters?
One, it is amazing. Like, if people like sex already, like, you ain't seen that yet. Because if you can actually activate it through a sexual encounter, when that sexual encounter stops, you can actually still ride the wave, like you're still being physically stimulated. So it feels like that person stopped, that person's done, or whatever, or you're talking or cuddling or whatever you're doing. So there's no penetration going on whatsoever. But you have, because you've harnessed this energy and you've managed to bring that energy from just physical genital stimulation, you've actually brought it up into the sacral, which is the sensuality center. When you bring it up and you keep bringing it up, it's like that energy stays reverberating throughout you. So that physical stimulation has stopped, but inside you it's still going on and on. And it is, it's a mad. But you can keep having multiple orgasms, keep going. Other person's like holding his arms like, you're much need me.
Like, man, she don't need me no more.
Like, it's mad. It is. But also, not just obviously the physical euphoric sense, but it's like you're connected to cosmic consciousness. So again, just having a physical sexual encounter can bring on that awakening, that inner awakening, where you're connected to cosmic source. So you're feeling these not just euphoric states, but again, the third eye's open and you are literally looking around the room and doing it all self-conscious. It's like you're tripping. Like you're tripping, like literally. And it's all about that, the power of that, and why that it would be a good thing is because now, when you're making decisions or you're living your life from a centered space, from a space where you connect to source, and you'll find things just fall into place. You're in vibrational alignment, you're tuned in, you're tapped on, there's more synchronicities. It's just like, oh my god, I'm living in a movie. Like, what happened to like the struggle? of life. What, like, I was brought up in like a Jamaican household, and I was told daily, like, you think life easy, like life is a struggle, life ain't easy, life is hard, life is hard. That's what I was brought up in. That was the mantra that was playing in my subconscious through my upbringing. So to have an experience like that, and everything is effortless, everything is falling into place. I've got vibrational privilege, so everything is working in my way. Like, buses are stopping up. I don't have to try to do everything. It's great. Like, it is mad. Like, it's crazy what a shift that can do. The shift is real and it's powerful. And to say you could get that just from having sex, it's like you are taking the mick. So it's crazy because obviously most sex, like even like pornography, magazines, they're all centered to keep you in your lower aspect, to keep you in your primal, to keep you in your animal centers. So you're not allowed to reach those higher heights. It's crazy because it's mad how physical it really is.
Yeah, but imagine then if you've got a couple who appreciate and respect the power of working through your Kundalini, and they start making goals together and harnessing that energy consciously together to achieve goals, you know, money manifestation, children, you know, getting a house, or just achieving whatever their vision is. Like, imagine how much easier it would be in life if we partnered up with that mindset.
It'd be beautiful because then it's just a case of having that desire, having that goal, and coming into vibrational alignment, because the energy of what we want is huge, it's massive, but then where is our energy? If our energy is low, it's going to be harder to attain. So if you can do that as a couple, two people, both, as you said, harnessing that energy and coming into alignment, it's powerful. Like, that's what in certain cultures and traditions it's called sex magic.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm not playing around. When I meet guys now, the other day, this guy said to me, "Oh, why are you single? Blah blah blah. Are you so beautiful? Blah blah blah." And I'm like, I'm not being funny, but I haven't met anybody on the same vibration as me yet. You know, I'm just attracting people who represent my trauma, and I'm fully aware of it. And I just harness that and that idea and express it somewhere else. So, for example, if I was to meet a guy and I can tell that he is representing my lower self, rather than projecting that onto him, it's almost like I make the decision immediately to say, do you know what? I know what this is about. And say, for instance, it's about some past guilt. I'll write a chapter in my book about guilt, you know, and use that story to empower other people. So the reason why I'm single is because I haven't met anybody who's on my vibrational plane yet. You know, because when I, you know, embark upon the sexual endeavor with somebody, I want to be able to create that magic. And if there's any boundaries in the way of me expressing my love to someone, then it can't work. And a lot of the times, especially with, you know, no disrespect to our men, but they're not sex magic ready.
It's like, yeah, what's that witchcraft y'all got me out the door?
It's not even that you're not relationship ready. You're not sex magic ready.
Just there's levels.
There is
levels.
I don't want to light the candles and lay down and do what we've got to do. You need to be on that vibrational plane. You can't be telling me about your Tom, Dick and Harry and your Sally and Sue and you're this endeavour and you're that endeavour. Rude boy, come up to the mark, because right about now, it's Egypt up in this joint.
Trust me, people need to know that, like, the yoni, it is a portal. It is a portal for life. It is a portal for creative energy. So the unseen, 1 minute there's something that's unseen. Let's just think of the example of a child. Spirit is unseen, and then once that seed's planted, now it comes through the portal of the yoni, through the portal of the vagina, and now it's come from the unseen into the seen. So let's think, all your wishes, all your desires, everything you want, is in the unseen. It's not quite here. It's not quite tangible yet. Can't poke it, can't smell it, can't touch it. just like that child that we couldn't smell, couldn't touch, couldn't hold. So as we know now, physically, on a physical level, if physically the vagina is is and can portal something that's unseen into the scene, then what else can it bring into this plane? So it's about
But this,
actually playing with that and seeing things on one level and just questioning, okay, how else can that work? I just, because I have with me, I'm just curious. That's how I find out things. I'm curious. I'm just like, oh, so that does that. I wonder what else it can do. And it's like a curiosity for a child. Like, I just like to explore. So all this is just my creative exploring, which is almost like play for me.
yeah, and so it has that innocence about it as well. It can make people very tense and send them into a lower level space, having to constantly be, you know, thinking and worrying about other parties who are involved. I mean, a lot of people, some women are still in relationships and trying to move on, and then there's some men who are still in relationships and trying to entertain relationships with new partners, and it's just like, really, are we really going to have this conversation? Can't we just keep the innocence and just go through the process, you know, with flow, you know, so you relax.
Mm-hmm.
It can't work otherwise, can it? It has to keep
Exactly. Especially like if the focus, when the focus is on healing and the focus is on growth and the focus on evolution, you'll see how far you can spring, because like you can't put anything that's in a glass that's already full. So if those portals are already full of trauma, already full, they're sending out a vibrational frequency. So we need to be careful about, yeah, it's good to say, okay, I want to manifest this and I want to manifest that. We've all got dreams and desires, but unless we've done that work to actually heal and clear that portal has a frequency constantly singing, but what tune is it singing to? So when let's say we do want to try sex magic and we do want to try this manifesting through sex and harnessing this energy, we have to say, okay, hang on a minute, but what? Let's just check in now and be really clear what actually we could be honest with ourselves, very open and honest, and what frequency and what level am I currently working on? Because anything that's coming through that frequency is going to be on the same frequency as your body and your cellular memory. So that's why I'm very, very strong advocate for healing. Make sure that healing work is done, because let's say if you got the power to manifest exactly what you want, well, not even exactly what you want, you got the power just to manifest. Someone's giving you this one. It's like, here, but this wand is within you now. It's embedded within you. So whatever you got just the skills and ability to manifest, you have to be very cautious what we're going to be pulling into this plane. Because if we're full of trauma, we're full of regrets, and we're full of guilt, we're going to consistently be pulling in, and we currently are, but it just happens a lot slower. We're going to be pulling in situations that make us feel guilty. We're going to be pulling in situations that recreate that trauma. We're going to keep pulling it in and pulling it in, and we're thinking, hang on a minute, we're leaving one situation physically, closing the door physically, walking up to another door physically, opening a door, seeing someone that's marvelous, but then they're carrying the same vibration that we just left. Why is that? Because we haven't done the inner work, we haven't cleared the inner. So it's very good to have the power to manifest, but then we've got to be very careful that that particular one, that's sharp, that's clean, that's on point. So we have to make sure ourselves, like, we're sharp, we're on point, we're doing the healing work, we're doing the clearing work, or we need to be very cautious of what we're bringing in and what we are attracting, because we could consciously, with the conscious mind, be like, okay, mortgage, house, consciously, like, that's what makes me feel good. But then subconsciously, we've got all these other things going on, and obviously we all know the subconscious mind is so powerful. So consciously we're aiming for one thing and we're doing what we need to do to manifest it, but then subconsciously we're sabotaging it and we're thinking, how come? Oh, we were this close. We were this close. Like, what happened?
Yeah. It's interesting because for me, what I do, well, what I have done is I've gone there with myself. I've gone to those lower feelings and those lower beliefs, took time out of relationships and gone to those lower places and healed them, and then elevated myself to a new level, so that now I'm kind of coasting. I haven't got so many issues to deal with. So, for example, you know, my abuse, certain things that I've experienced as a child,
Yeah.
you know, even the smaller things that I need to, I've had to heal. I've actually gone there with those things. I've gone to that dark place by myself, so that when I do enter into a relationship, I'm not so, you know, my partner hasn't got so much work to do. Do you get what I mean? And I
Definitely,
think
definitely.
that the masculine energies in the human race need to really think about making sure that they're comfortable with going through that healing, so they're not judged so much. And it's more about, okay, then fair enough, he's at this, you can see what level he's at, and he kind of knows what level he's at, and is open to the healing. So we can say, okay then babes, for example, how sexy would this be? You and your partner have a realization. So you have a realization that your partner went out, something happened to him when he was younger, and you actually literally sit down and say, do you know what, we're going to work through that in our sex tonight. We're
See,
literally
that's
going to have,
heaven, yeah.
like how beautiful would that be? But because I don't know about if there's a lot of men and a lot of women who are not in that space, they're not able to help each other with the evolution process through using harnessing that Kundalini energy that you both have, and so that you get that real connection and that real
Trust
understanding
me.
of what's going on.
It's like basically, if he ain't helping you heal, the love's not real.
Boom.
Most definitely.
Boom. If he or she ain't helping you heal, then the love ain't real. I wonder if that's a song. Do you think that's a song now? We
Okay.
should just write a song.
Yeah, we should just like write some bars. Get the hook. You said it here first.
Yeah. So so sex is good. So basically what we've talked about is you know, sex and harnessing our Kundalini energy. Sex can be a bad thing if we're not, we could just be creating the same traumas
Definitely be
if we're not
unaware.
with that awareness. But with that awareness, we can be creating some greatness together.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ah,
Powerful.
bless. Very, very powerful. So, is there anything else you want to say? Because we've been on for about 45 minutes now, and
Alright.
I feel like it's what's your work? What do you do, and how do you help people? Do you do like couples Kundalini yoga and couples Kundalini massage and all that kind of stuff? Tell us about that and how that benefits us.
I'm trained and qualified in Kundalini Tantra Yoga. So within that aspect, I've been actually trained by a guru how to awaken the Kundalini in almost like a safe manner and a controlled manner, because it's easy to have like spontaneous happenings, but then it goes. So it's like, okay, how can I keep this energy, even if it's a small aspect, continually running through me? So with yoga, we can do it with couples, which is bonding, it's breathing, it's harmonizing the energy, not having a connection, because yoga means union. So it's not just like the asanas, which are the postures. It's more about actually coming in alignment with that energy that is within yourself and having a connection to that. So once you've got a connection to it, you can choose, okay, you know what, I want to amplify this. And in that amplification of that energy, that is what comes into Tantra. Because Tantra is to
Yeah.
expand your energy and to be liberated at the same time. So you're creating that freedom. So with Kundalini, when you enter an altered state of consciousness, you're now liberated because your whole perception is liberated. You're not, everyone is holding themselves back. So when you're not holding yourself back from your perception and from your current state of attraction and what you're attracting and bringing into yourself, there is liberation in that field. So if two people come together and learn these practices and these techniques, you can go off and away and make your magic together. So that's the yoga aspect. But I also do Kundalini Tantra massage as well. So that's all about really becoming in tune with your own energies. So a couple can learn how to massage each other, or you could just come if you're a single person, just come just to experience that energy as well, and
Oh,
actually
another
learn
thing.
how to control their processes.
Another thing I was going to ask about is masturbation. How can we harness that Kundalini? Is that healthy? Is it not healthy? What's your opinion on harnessing your
I'd
Kundalini energy?
say it's not healthy if you feel like it's an addiction, because I don't think there's any such thing as a healthy addiction. But if it's something that you're, if you've got a desire to please yourself in that manner, then maybe it's more healthy than just pleasing yourself instead of having, because that same desire, if you don't feed it, it's still going to be there. So it's safer to actually think, you know what, I'm going to explore my body. And sometimes it's not just about pleasure. Sometimes it can just be about, okay, what feeling, what sensations do I feel when I go into this region? How does it feel when I get there? Oh my God, that doesn't feel right. Is the trauma there? Maybe I should massage this region. So maybe it shouldn't just be about sexual gratification, and more about actually just exploring your own inner body as a woman.
Do you know what? I'm really happy that we've had this conversation today, because for me personally, I feel like I've really kind of realised and it's outlined that sex is about manifestation and healing. So unless I'm manifesting or healing, there's no point.
Exactly.
I totally
exactly.
I feel like I've had like a click. Not that I didn't know that anyway, but I mean, it just really allowed that to kind of sink in. So where can we find you, Patrice? Where can we find you?
You can find me. You can add my Facebook, and you can always message me. But I've got a website called Ankara Ray. I will write it in the comments as well. So ankararay.com. You can find me on Instagram, melenated.stardust as well. And you feel free to conversate, hit me up anytime if you've got any questions or queries. I'm here about this life, so anytime.
Has anyone got any questions quickly? Because it's half term and I can hear baby in the background.
Yeah.
Any questions? Well, yeah. If anyone has any questions, then go to Patrice's website. Patrice, thank you so much, Ma, for speaking to us today on such a sensitive topic, and thank you for being so clean and polite with it as well. And
definitely.
You know, I love you, and girl, I'm gonna talk to you later.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thanks for everyone for listening, tuning in. Bye.
Okay then, honey. So, hi everyone. Thank you. That was just so awesome. Oh my God. Woo! I can feel my Kundalini energy rolling through my body. Absolutely love it. Absolutely freaking love it. Thank you so much for listening and watching us today. And I hope you've learned something, I hope you've learned a lot. And I hope that this live will improve your relationship with yourself and your relationship with your partners. Because at the end of the day, a lot of relationships are breaking up too easily, and there's so many things out there that we need to explore and so many things that we can do together that we're not doing together as couples. And I just hope that this live gave you some ideas, and you'll go away and feel confident with exercising those ideas.